said we're going to win this election come November the 5th. People's going to go out and vote, and we're going to win the election. Is that what you said, JD, honey? We got Trump Vance election. Let's leave it right there for one moment, please. One moment. I'm going to play a little bit of that, you all. Welcome. I got that light right in my eye. Let me like push the light over to the side. Well, maybe if this is in my eye. Yeah, that's okay, you all. We can do it. We're going to do it. We got JD Vance. He's doing his speaking, is what he's doing. I got to get up from here. Really, because that light's really like in my face just a little bit. Maybe if I made it a little bit out of that way it's not so blinding. Frank, honey, is that you, Frank? Hey there, Mary. How y'all doing? Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I can't really take my shoes off in here like I do upstairs. Okay, we got it. We got it, Barbara. Grand Rising, Tanya. Yes. You're worried about the hurricane right now in Florida. It's coming through right now. Is it going to make landfall come Thursday? I heard that it was. I did. But let's listen to see what he's going to say. Just a little bit. He can talk a little bit.
But we are not going to do that. We're not going to get that chance to improve this country and to solve the people's problems unless we win. But I got some good news for you. 43 days from now, we are going to do exactly that. We're going to win the state of North Carolina and turn the entire country red.
Let's hope you're right, JD. I know you want to make it happen. I hope you want to make it happen, JD. Yeah, hello. Hello there, Aletta. Battle Angel. I like it, Battle Angel. We got a lot of angels on earth. We really do.
Somebody back here has a sign, the outlaw and the hillbilly. I like that. I like that. But look, we're not going to do it unless we work our tails off. Because as confident as I am that if the election were held today, we would win. And the election, of course, is going to be held on November 5th, and we're going to win then. But my friends, it is tight. And there's a lot that needs to happen between now and then to ensure that we win this race for the American people. But we're never going to get a fair shake from the media. And we're never going to get a fair shake, of course, from the Democratic operatives. But of course, I repeat myself because the Democratic operatives and the media very often one and the same. But what we do have is the power of our voice and the power of the American people. And for people of faith in particular, I mean, you all know this better than I do. But every single day, we see people in church who are devoted to their families, who love their nation, who love the Lord. But when it comes to election day, they just don't show up because they say politics doesn't matter, right? They don't care about politics. Well, my friends, when you've got Kamala Harris, the biggest threat to religious liberty we've had in at least a generation, you better care about politics because Kamala Harris's politics, they care about you. They're very simple. And so what we've got to do is use our voice, use our platform, use our pulpit, use the connections that we have to make sure that people of faith get out there and reject the Kamala Harris politics that is an assault on religious liberty and parental rights. And the only way that we're going to do that is if you talk to people. So every single day over the next 43 days, I want you to do everything that you can to get out there and fight for this country and make sure people get out to vote. And I'm going to make two very specific requests. Now, the first is, if you would, stand up and take out your phones. Everybody here, stand up, take out your phones. And all of us, we use social media, whether it's X or Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media network you use. And so what I want you to do, whether you take a selfie or you take a photo of me,
A lot of actors in movies, they wear mascara along their eyes. I know that you know this, otherwise you would not have noticed that maybe perhaps they have people who fix them up so that they look better on camera. I think that's what you were trying to get to, right? Yeah, Adele, honey, because the actors in the movies, while they're being filmed, they have to make their eyes stand out a little bit more. Do you wear mascara? Do you? You put the eyeliner on your eyes? I mean, I don't do any of it. I don't. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of people who do have very thick eyelashes, extremely thick. Yeah. Yeah. Are you vegan? Are you real? You ban mascara? You do it. Good afternoon. Be a blessing. So everybody's going to get out their cell phones. They're going to take it. I'm encourage you, go out there and vote. Go out there and vote, and don't sit on your behind. If you're registered to vote, go out there and vote. Vote Trump, Vance, vote Kamala. Just go vote. Even though you may feel your vote don't matter, still go ahead and get out there and vote. Because somebody's going to get into that position. And you may help them get in that position. You may. But if you don't do nothing, they may not get in the person you want to vote for, the person you say, I don't care who wins because it's all rigged, or I hope somebody wins, but I'm not going to go out and vote because my vote doesn't matter. Well, let's hope the person you hope will win, wins, even though you didn't get out there and vote. I would encourage you to go vote, really, truly. There's a lot going on in the world. It'll be the last time you have to vote, remember? I'm going to vote. I am. Am I going to wear that sticker on my shirt saying I voted? No, I rarely ever do that. There are people who do wear the stickers. I voted, but I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote Trump. I am. He's rough around the edges, but I'm going to vote Trump.
Take a photo right now, and here's what I want you to do with that photo. I want you to post it on whatever social media you use, and I want you to tell people why you're voting for Donald Trump in November. Because even though they're not going to tell the full story of what happened here today, and even though we're not always going to be able to get our message out through the left-wing media, we can get our message out through one another. So please, get out there, talk to as many people as you can, talk to them at church, talk to them on social media, make the case for Donald Trump, and we will win. Now, the second thing I want you to do, and I want to read this, I want to make sure I get this right. I think it's swampthevote.com. I want you to go to that website, swampthevote.com, because that has a lot of good information. And
I want to see that. Swamp the vote. Swamp. He wants to drain the swamp. Swamp the vote. I've never heard of that. Swamp the vote.com. What is it? I'm trying to get to it. I'm going to see what it says. Oh, swamp the vote. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, do your part to guarantee we win by more than a margin of fraud. Well, there's a lot of fraud that goes on in elections, no matter if they're presidential, local, church. By casting your vote and taking responsibility for assuring every Republican and Trump voter in your household cast their votes. You get a free yard sale sign. You can pledge to vote early, check voter registration. You got to swamp the vote. What you got to say, Donald Trump?
From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win. And we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat. And frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.
Swamp the vote. Swamp, flood them. Flood the polls with your vote for Trump. I guess that's what it would be. Swamp the vote. Okay, now you know what he said. If you're just tuning in, hello, we're going to look at J.D. Vance here for a little bit. Yeah, we need to make sure.
It gives you an ability to sign up and participate in what we have going on. It is shocking. Millions of church-going Christians will not vote in the 2024 election unless we convince them to. And I have a colleague of mine, he loves to say when he's standing in front of a big crowd like this, he'll say, well, we need to make sure and get out there and vote 10 times. And that'll make everybody kind of uncomfortable because they'll say, well, we follow the law. You can only vote once legally.
The Electoral College, they're supposed to follow what the people vote in their state. They are, because they're the one who cast their votes. But what if they go against the people in their state and they vote the opposite? Yeah. What if they vote the opposite?
But what he means is vote 10 times the legal way. And the way you do that is you take yourself to the polls and then you get 9 friends and family to go to the polls with you. And here's another thing that you may not realize. I talk to a lot of people, of course. I'm running for Vice President of the United States. But I talk to many people who will say, you know, if I talk to 100 Trump voters, 95 of them will say, well, I voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But 5 of them will say, I wanted to vote for Donald Trump in 2020, but something came up. You know, my son got sick and I had to get him home and take him to the doctor. Or something happened with mom, I had to take her to surgery. Or maybe I just had a late day at work and I couldn't get out there and cast my ballot. Look, I don't love that this country has gone from election day to election season, but it is what it is, and we got to play by the rules that are set. So
why can't we have, Dan, one person, one vote, do away with the Electoral College? Well, here's what's going to happen. If you pay attention to what goes on around the world where people gather together, the prominent people, Klaus Schwab said, hypothetically speaking, I'm going to let you hear what he said about that. Hypothetically speaking about voting. Oh, he's a K-L-A-U-S, Schwab. Schwab. Okay. Look at this. Wait a second. Look at this. Election 2024 reset. What's next? No, I didn't want to go there. I did not want to go there. Let me get that.
The essential cybersecurity platform for the...
Let me get off of that. I didn't want to go there. He said, this is what Klaus Schwab said. Oh, that's Charles Schwab. Gina, honey, you got the wrong thing. I'm thinking of Klaus Schwab. It's the World Economic Forum. Look, here's the USA Today. They're the same one who fact-checked me and said Jeff Bezos was not an alien. Now they're saying, no, the WEF head did not endorse replacing elections with AI. Who was that? Was that you, Dan? Dan, I'm going to address your comment. We've done a video on this before. I want you to hear what he said. This is the rumor that went around because he hypothetically was speaking, they said. Just got to wait till this goes past. No, I don't want to look at Greta. I don't. It says the claim is that Klaus Schwab endorsed using predictive AI in place of elections. It was on August the 5th, an Instagram post, direct link, archive link, features a clip. Let's go to the archive link on the Instagram post if it will let us hear it. I'm going to let you hear what Klaus Schwab said, hypothetically speaking. No, I can't show it him. Let's see.
Digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power, and we have seen the first examples, and your company very much involved into it. But then the next step could be to go into prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore, because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be. Can you imagine such a world?
He said, can you imagine such a world where you don't have to do elections because you have AI predictive? It will predict who the winner should be, and people won't need to vote. Nobody will need to vote because AI will do it. There's your thing. They said that he called for that. He said he didn't. They said he says, but one fear which I have heard, technology and digital technologies mainly have an analytical power. Now we go into a predictive power. This is Schwab saying that digital technologies are going into a predictive power. We have seen, let me read, here's what he said. She's giving me a hot flash, you all. Don't give me no hot flash. He says, we have seen the first examples, and your company is very much involved into it, but since the next step could be to go into prescriptive mode, which means you do not even have to have elections anymore because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be. Can you imagine such a world? That is what Klaus Schwab said of AI, the predictive nature. And Donald Trump said, get out and vote. You won't have to do it anymore. Get out and vote. The reason why you ain't going to have to do it anymore, it's going to be predictive power. If you don't go out and vote right now, come 4 years from now, when it's time to vote again, you don't get to vote because AI is literally going to cast the vote. AI is going to use its predictive power, and the world is going to change rapidly after this election. It probably will be, hey, Al, honey. Yeah, it probably will be the last physical time that you go and ever vote again in person, because AI will do it. It's literally, this is the catastrophic mutating event that they predict is going to strike the earth in 2 years. Well, in 2025, that 2 years is here. That's next year. A catastrophic mutating event that will strike the earth. They likened it to a cyber event where your world is forever changed. They're really encouraging you to get out and vote for you as a human being. Use your right to vote. Women, use your right to vote. Is that the 19th Amendment or something? We truly could be going into a future where you don't get to vote no more because AI does it for you, or whoever's controlling AI. I'm just being quite honest with you. I really am. Very honest. The world is changing.
Use early voting, use mail-in voting, use voting on election day, whatever you can, to get out there and make sure that if 100 people plan to vote for Donald Trump, 100 people actually get out there and do vote for Donald Trump. And I'll leave you with just this.
You can't let it to happen. We're on the path right now where it is going to happen. You cannot stop the mutating event, the evolving AI, artificial intelligence. You can't stop it. They don't know where all it's at. They don't know how far it's spread, really. A lot of people know that it's probably already woke up, like the awakening, but they've put a timestamp on it when it's really going to become known is in 2029. And they call it the awakening. It's like they've awakened the beast. You ever hear that? You awakened the beast? And I wondered, why did they say 2029? Well, 2029 is also when the God of Destruction asteroid 99942, April the 13th, is supposed to come to Earth, and something about the planetary system. But AI is supposed to be awakened. It's like in the Transformers when they awakened, that one thing that they had in the ice. Was it under Hoover Dam? It's also like in that some kind of game. It's called the Ceph or something. I don't know what it was. It's really, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let me hear him. I'm not going to talk no more.
This final thought, my friends. One of my dear friends, who actually was very influential in me returning to my faith. I remember before I ran for Senate, this was probably February of 2021, when I was thinking about running for Senate. I had never participated in the political process, and I was talking to my good buddy, and I said, man, there's so much that's wrong with this country. I was frustrated with so much, and I kind of went through, at the time, some of the big corporations in Georgia were going after the state for passing very moderate voter ID laws. And Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were out there arresting pro-life Catholic fathers of 7. And I was... The National Weather Service in Louisville has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for...
Okay, that's your spiritual warning right there. That is your spiritual warning. With that weather radio going off, that's your spiritual warning right there.
Northern Jefferson County in central Kentucky until 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 1:26 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm was located near New Albany, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Expected hazards include 60 miles per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat. The following impacts are expected: hail damage to vehicles.
Just whatever I got through talking about, we're showing him, and then that alarm goes off. That storm literally is coming this way. I always look at things through a spiritual point of view. If something like that happens, when this is very important, that's spiritual red flags. Something is coming, physically and spiritually. I'm going to go. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Get out and vote. This may be the very last time that you ever get to vote as a human being, because predictive power, which is digital technologies, will be able to choose the best candidate. Trump even gave you that warning. You won't have to do it again. Christians, get out and vote. You won't have to do it. He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. Can you hear me now? My phone's, a phone call came in. It said scam. As I was talking, that's what it said. It muted me, and I didn't even recognize the number. I didn't. All right, I'm gonna go. That's your spiritual warning. I really do look at things from a spiritual point of view. If I'm gonna lean anywhere, it's gonna be leaning into my spiritual self, right here, right there. I'm gonna go. Al, honey, thank you all. Please give this video a thumbs up, hit that like button. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Love you. Afternoon. Yeah, the storms are here.